afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ed Carson here with a breakdown of the action in today's session. And unlike the mid-May follow-through day, yesterday's now has had some follow-up to the follow-through.
Yeah, it looks like the NASDAQ had another confirmation day today, and all the major indexes had strong gains. We'll get into that more. We're going to take a look at a few stocks that we're showing at least some promise setting up, maybe not actionable right now. Delta Airlines, On Semiconductor, and Regeneron.
All right, those three we will definitely check in on, but first let's take a look at those major indexes. So a powerful gain today by the NASDAQ, up over 3% in the session, finishing up 3.3% to be exact, followed by the S&P 500 and Russell 2000 up both by about 2.5%, and the Dow up 1.8%. So we've got a follow-through day on Thursday, and now it's seeing the NASDAQ above that 21-day line and breaking out of its trading range from the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah, so that's all positive. I mean, much better than, say, like after the May 17th follow-through day. And in fact, now we're above the May 17th follow-through day, which never got above the 21-day line, at least on the NASDAQ. So, there's that on a weekly chart. You can actually see it. You can actually see it because this is, we broke above a downtrend. It almost looks like we're breaking a downtrend, or at least getting, from that perspective.
At least from the early April peak.
At least from early April. I mean, which was just so punishing. To some extent, it's like, well, we had to at some point have an up week almost, just so. I think what's interesting is that there's maybe more of a sense after today that maybe this is a tradable rally. Now, we don't know. This could fizzle right away, but a little bit more confidence that this might continue. As we did note, on IBD Live today, that yesterday's follow through, while it was on higher volume than the prior session, it was below normal, significantly so. And that can work, but it does raise some questions.
Right.
And Friday's volume, while the NASDAQ, it looks like it was higher than Thursday, was again below average. So something to note. And there weren't a whole lot of stocks to buy, especially outside of energy. So those are a couple things to watch. But still, this is nice to see. And, just have to try, have a glass half full, but just knowing that it's not overflowing kind of thing with good news.
Exactly. All right. Well, a positive development, of course. And now let's take a look at the S&P 500 getting above its 21-day line on Thursday and extending gains Friday. We also have the Dow Jones Industrial Average continuing with its strength. Quite a number of up days in a row here now. Got above the 21-day Thursday and continuing higher today and getting awfully close, I would say, at least a lot closer than it has been, to its 50-day line.
Yeah, so that's nice to see. I mean, the NASDAQ is a lot further away, but Dow's getting up there. There's a lot of resistance level, the 50-day, the 200-day, the late March, early April highs, and then all-time highs. There's a lot of places where people might say, I'm finally back to even, I'm selling. So this is one reason why, we just have to see how far will this go? Will it really go? And it could be that we break through. It could be that we fail and do another leg. It could mean that we sort of fizzle out for a while, trade sideways. We don't know. We just know what's going on right now, but that is something to watch going forward.
Exactly, to be prepared for those different scenarios and the resistance that could pose a threat ahead. And let's also take a look at the 10-year Treasury yield continuing this recent pullback, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, there's some concerns about the economy. Today we had a tamer inflation report. At least it wasn't worse than expected, a little better than some places. So easing fears a little bit there. So that's nice. That's definitely a reason why the market has gotten a boost the last few days.
All right. And a quick run through of some sectors, because you mentioned oil and gas stocks. And so here's a look at the XLE ETF. It's extended, but this was the area this week where it seemed like setups were pretty plentiful, and energy, at least, a number of oil and gas stocks back on the menu.
Yeah, and we went over a lot of them on SMT Video or IBD Live earlier in the week. A number of them are now getting extended, sort of like XLE is here. But definitely people should be looking at this. This is an area of strength. Oil is looking strong.
All right. And what other sectors might we look at to give a little more color as to what went down this week?
Let's take a look at maybe XRT. This is not going to look nearly as nice. Um, but something that really happened, one of the things that really lifted the market was that we started seeing the market rise on bad news even. I mean, some of this, there was some good news, like Dollar Tree had good reports, but there were some retailers that had bad earnings or bad guidance and they still rallied. And other things like NVIDIA too. And so after that horrific sell-off last week, Walmart and Target, which really killed the rally last week, this week, big rebound. I mean, not many are looking that good in terms of charts, but this was a big factor.
Yeah, XRT up 10% for the week. So definitely good to note there, Ed. All right, well, let's run through some stocks to watch, including Delta Airlines. Like you said, perhaps not actionable right now, unless you're an aggressive investor, but could this travel play finally have liftoff?
Yeah, one problem with travel plays is that they're too quick to do round trips. And we've had a lot of stocks, or even worse, you go further back than you were before. Yeah, yesterday it sort of broke above the 50-day and 200-day line. You could see a trend line, and there was a number of stocks. Obviously, the market was there. There were a couple of airlines had positive talk about Q2 revenue. So that was probably a place where you could have bought it Thursday or maybe this morning. It's getting a little up there now. In another week, that late April consolidation on could be its own base, or you could sort of view this as just a resistance area or a handle in this long consolidation. It's hit resistance around that area a few times, so we'll see. So maybe you could have bought some. It's starting to get into sort of a no man's land right now. But again, if this rally is going to have legs, this is why you want to be building a watch list for stuff that isn't necessarily not just it's actionable now, but also maybe become actionable down the road.
And on semiconductor, another stock worth reviewing, our stock of the day today. I believe we focused on it this morning on IBD Live with Charles Harris. So a gain of 3% on Friday to mark an 8% gain for the week. And that RS line blue dot with the stock still 14% below its highs at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so this is one of the few growth stocks that's really looking and holding up pretty well. I mean, and it has several quarters of triple-digit earnings growth, and so a lot of strength there. Maybe a really aggressive trader could have bought it yesterday or to this morning, but maybe it's just but that's would be a lot to ask to do doing that one. But maybe as it comes up,
entry,
really early entry, like a partial entry, maybe at this point. And there was nice volume today, so that's a positive. Maybe it comes up and forms a handle in this space and provides a better opportunity. But definitely one to watch, especially for people who like to look at growth stocks. This is actually one that isn't too far off.
Yes. And last but not least, a trip to the medical sector with Regeneron clearing a trend line earlier this week, though it didn't touch quite that many points in the middle of the trend line, but it is back above its 50-day and maybe forming a handle here, Ed, right around that 700 level.
Yeah, I mean, while you could try to do something off that trend line, I think, and I guess you could argue that 50-day is around the top of the old base. I mean, you can always find an excuse to try to jump into something of it. It's like, but in this case, I think, yeah, if it could form a handle, I think that would be nice. Break above the 700 level. I mean, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just sort of. Last time, it sort of cleared some early entries and just kept on chugging along, and didn't really provide a really nice decisive area. So this is one to watch. It may not develop the way you'd like, but this is, the biotech and some of the big biotechs and some of the big drug makers have definitely been an area that have held up reasonably well in this market.
Yes, they have. All right, Ed. So we got a follow through day and we got a follow up on the follow through. So exactly how aggressive should traders be now?
Obviously, that's going to be a personal choice. And if you're going to be, the more aggressive you are, the faster you need to be able to jump out. Like if you're but if you dipped a toe into the market yesterday, maybe you slowly started wading into the shallow end kind of thing and just staying up there just a little bit, and you just have to take it as it comes. if this market can keep on going, that's fine. You don't have to be in individual stocks. You could still be in some broad market ETFs. You may want to take partial profits. Again, this might be the rally that goes on forever, and you'll say, "Oh, why did I sell that?" But if that happens, there'll be lots of things to buy. In the last several months, the rallies have been short-lived, so so it's been a good idea to take at least partial profits relatively quickly to make sure you come out of it with a gain.
Mm-hmm. All great reminders there, Ed. Thank you so much. And just a reminder that the stock market is closed on Monday for Memorial Day. So the team will see you back here on Tuesday. We hope you have a great long weekend, everyone. The fun doesn't stop here today. Join me with Kathy Donnelly. She is co-author of the Life Cycle Trade at 5 p.m. Eastern over on my YouTube channel. We are going to have some stock tales. So it'll be great to have a conversation with a CanSlim trader like her to see what stocks are on her radar as the market tries to make a turn this week. All right, Ed, thank you so much. And thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week.